All right, we're recording.
Welcome to the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living 10 a.m. meditation. My name is Joanie Bauman, and I'm a practitioner, and it is a pleasure to be with you today. I invite you to take a moment and be aware of your breathing, following along with the rhythmic circulation of your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Being aware of the general natural flow of the breath. With each breath you take, your body is becoming relaxed. With each breath you take, your mind is becoming clear and open, ready to receive. Any stray thoughts may simply come and go. Let these pass through you as you continue the rhythmic flow of your breathing. And feel your body relax from your breathing as you follow its calming pattern. As we clear out our minds and breathe easily and effortlessly, follow me on an internal journey. A compilation of the Shining Path, and I went into a mountain. Passages from the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. The pathway of life shines before me unto the perfect day. I walk the pathway of the soul to the gate of good. And as I pass through this gate, I continue to go deeper and deeper within. I peel away layers and layers until I know I have arrived at my inner truth, my inner power. This power is always present and available to me. I have discovered a secret place, a quiet place within, where the thought goes into a mountain high above the din of the world. I have found in this mountain a place of peace and rest, a place of joy and comfort to the heart. I have found that the secret place of spirit is within my own soul. As I enter into my good, I have entered into the fulfillment of my desires. Nothing need to be added to, and nothing can be taken from the all good, which is forever expressing itself in me. Daily shall I receive its great blessings, and my soul shall rejoice forevermore in its calming presence. Let us continue to breathe in and experience this essence within, this soul, this beauty. My soul within me rejoices as I am in a safe and sacred place. I am made glad as I behold my inner light, my inner power. The all good has claimed me as its own. Be still within me and behold the beauty. Let us now surrender to a few moments of reflection. Let us return to contemplating our inner good. This pathway of life shines before me unto the perfect day, and I walk the pathway of the soul to the gate of good. I am now entered into my good, and I accept the good and rejoice that it is with me. I affirm I have entered into the secret place of the soul, and my good will remain with me. I will listen for Spirit's voice. Complete calm reigns supreme as Spirit talks to me. I have entered into the fulfillment of my desires, and I rest in security and peace. This inner light shines forth and continues to illumine the way. I accept my good and I rejoice that it is with me today and every day going forward. And as we slowly begin to re-enter our room, slowly become aware of our surroundings, I invite you to start become acquainted and to slightly move and open your eyes when you are ready. Namaste.
Good morning. Welcome to the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Ann Strayer. I'm a practitioner intern, and I'll be giving you the announcements today. Due to the current pandemic, we will be offering our Sunday celebration on YouTube, our new YouTube channel, and that's Columbus CSL. Please join us via Zoom for our ongoing Wednesday Community Connection. See your CCSL Weekly Word e-newsletter for the Zoom sign-in or call the CCSL office. You can also find the Zoom sign-in on our Facebook page. Thank you to everyone who joined in to either participate or spectate this past Friday for our Open Hearts Open Mic Talent Showcase on Zoom. Our next event will take place on Friday, July 10th at 7 p.m. If you would like to perform, please contact Jim Hetzer via email at jahetzer@sbcglobal.net. The Zoom sign-in for this event is found in your CCSL Weekly Word e-newsletter, and you can always find it on our Facebook page or contact the office to obtain it. If you want prayer after service or anytime throughout the week, you can find our prayer practitioners on our website, columbuscsl.org, or you can submit a prayer request on Facebook. That's the news for today. Let's all sing our opening song.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. All right, get those hands clapping. Get your arms moving. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Rev Ami Papadoupoulos. We are an inclusive organization that honors, celebrates, and meets you exactly where you are on your spiritual journey. Everyone is welcome here, no matter what. Thank you for joining today on Zoom. We had intended it to go to our YouTube channel, but we had some technical difficulties, which we will look into. And I'm glad that you all made your way here to us this morning. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. And remember to give it a thumbs up and to ring the bell. We're glad you're here. Also, a recording of today's service will be posted on our Facebook page. So please read our mission statement along with me. We serve the transformation of individual lives through education, spiritual practice, and deep community, using the science of mind principles as our compass. I'd like to thank practitioner Joanie Bauman for the beautiful meditation this morning. And thank you, practitioner Jay Barnes, for holding virtual High Watch today for our service. He is holding High Watch, and that allows us to go deeper into our consciousness and to listen, understand, and embody the teachings of science of mind in a deeper way. Now, I would like to reintroduce practitioner intern Ann Strayer, who will be assisting me today. Ann?
Thank you, Reverend Amy. We now begin our sacred service with the ringing of the bowls. A reading by Jack Kornfield. Be mindful of intention. Intention is the seed that creates our future. Now, let the music take us within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will rest within love, rest within love. I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the grace, wait upon the grace. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will rest within love, rest within love.
I lovingly invite you to join me in this affirmative prayer. And if you're comfortable, please close your eyes and allow my words to be your words for just a moment. How good it is to be right here, right now, in the presence of the divine. How good it is to know the intention of oneness and love being demonstrated today. There is nothing outside of God's infinite and eternal nature, for God is the place wherein the diversity of creation has its essence and its being. It is the invisible power which moves thought into action each and every moment. This ever-present infinite intelligence lovingly unites all that is with divine wisdom. And within this divine wisdom, I know that I am one with the one, as each individual is a beloved creation without exception. Each being is an individual expression of divine intelligence created with purpose. God is within me and with me, working for me and working through me, expressing as me and as all. Each individual unique expression, a part of the one. And as this is true for me, I know this is true for everyone everywhere. And I lovingly open my arms, my heart, and my hands to this unity unfolding. Right now, I declare, I claim, and I accept a hearty serving of delicious spiritual nourishment. I savor each delightful morsel that Spirit serves today through virtual fellowship and community, through music and song, and through Reverend Amy's divine message, knowing today's celebration is exactly what it needs to be. I let it guide me to the highest and best in every situation with unwavering faith. I say yes to all of the great things happening right now, and yes to something even greater. I open, I allow, and I celebrate this community, knowing this prayer is an affirmation that it is already complete in the mind of God. I give great thanks for the demonstration of Spirit's infinite potential in this and every moment. And as my heart overflows with appreciation for all that is God and all that is good, I release this prayer into the benevolent arms of the divine, where it is already known and done. And together we say, and so it is.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will rest within the love, rest within the love.
I can feel your pain, think your thoughts, struggle to go on. It's hard to talk, can't help but gravitate on a drop of faith that runs down my window, calling me, fighting to look through and see. I can feel your pain, I can feel your pain, I can feel your pain. Listen to you, I'll tell you what I do. Listen to you, and the silence of my helping hand lets the light in to understand the silence of my helping hand. Let's the light in to understand you can walk again. You can walk again. I can feel your pain. So yell it all out, no doubt about it. Cleanse your soul, it's okay to cry. Helping you, is it helping me? And giving me life and the strength I need. Let it out, no doubt about it. Cleanse your soul, it's okay to cry. Can't deny the patience, it's our life, and we make it. And we make it. I can feel your pain. In the silence of my helping hand, that's the light in to understand. The silence of my helping hand, you can walk again. You can sing it with me. In the silence of my helping hand, lets the light in to understand. The silence of my helping hand, you can walk again. In the silence of my helping hand, lets the light in to understand. The silence of my helping hand, you can walk again. In the silence of my helping hand, lets the light in to understand. The silence of my helping hand, you can walk again. I can feel your pain. I can feel your pain. I can feel your pain.
Thank you, Chad. That was perfect. I can feel your pain. Thank you. So, what a time to be a minister, and what a time to have the job of giving a Sunday talk in this current world and everything that we have going on. To be candid, it was hard for me to write this talk this week. I kept putting it off, and because we have so much going on in the world. And I'm thinking, I made a list. What do I address? The coronavirus, the demonstrations, the unemployment, the stock market, the economy, online schooling, hunger, healthcare. Whew. Where do you even begin? As a minister, I got 20 minutes. So I paused and I took a breath and went inside, and it continued to swirl. And I was still confused. So I decided to go back to principle. That's what I do. That's what this teaching does for me, is when I get confused, I go back to principle. So I went back to principle, and that's where I started. So let's go back to the basics of science of mind, the really foundational, the building blocks that hold that very bottom level of what science of mind teaches in the world. And really, when we go back to principle and we can really understand the bedrock of our philosophy, and we practice it, we understand it, we move it into our heart, then it becomes the fabric of our being, and it becomes a lens through which we can look at the world, because it is just who we are in the world. And that's what I want to talk about today, as how can we move through this world, especially during this time, using the principles of science of mind in our everyday life. And that principle, the main principle of science of mind, is oneness. Really. It is that God created everything out of itself, no matter what. So the principle, here's the principle. There is one God, or the original source. And this original source created the universe and created everything in it out of its essence of the source. And this essence of source is love. And this process of God creating the universe and everything in it out of itself is called emanation. You can also call it divine influx. Sometimes I think about it, I've heard it explained like a spider. As a spider spins its web, the spider is the creation, the web is everything. We are of it, but it does not get absorbed by us. So it is us and then more. And if the essence of the source, so therefore the essence of the source and its creation includes all human beings. Every single human being is made of the essence of God. But like I said, we're not all of God. Sometimes we hear it say, God is all of me, but I am not all of God, because it is beyond us. It is greater than us. And we are individualizations of the source. And there are two aspects of God: the original source, and then the presence of the law of God. And there is power in the law. And we commune with this presence of the law through things like affirmative prayer. Our purpose as human beings is to realize this truth that we are spiritual beings first and foremost. Every person is a spiritual being of God first and foremost. Doesn't matter if we practice Islam or Catholicism or Christianity or Hinduism or science of mind. We are all, or practice nothing. The truth is, and the philosophy that we follow in science of mind says, we are all emanations, individualizations of God. And that individualization is important because we're not the same. We're all unique individualizations, and yet we are all the same. It's another one of these paradoxes that we talk about in science of mind. It's not this or this, it's this and this. We are individualization, we are individual expressions of the one. Now, this is a bit different than Christianity and Islam, because Christianity and Islam teach that God is separate from its creation. Science of mind doesn't teach that. Science of mind teaches we are not separate. We cannot be separate from the creation. We are always one with the one, and yet it is beyond us. Because we are made out of God, and God's essence is love, we are each made out of love. And we are meant to have a vibrant physical health. We are meant to have abundance. We're meant to have prosperity and wonderful, loving relationships and creative self-expression. And sometimes we don't demonstrate these qualities in our life. And why is that? Because sometimes in our humanness, and I would even say in our culture, we identify with the material effects. We identify with what's around us. We look around and we see what's happening out here, and we think that this is the truth. Michael Beckwith would say, this is old news. This out here is just an outpicturing of what we've thought and the tendencies of our thoughts and what we believe. So if God is love, and creates everything and everyone out of its essence. How do negative things appear in the world, such as violence, killing, and our unhumanity towards each other? I believe that the science mind has the answer for this, that we forget the truth about who we are, because it always starts within ourselves first. We forget the truth that we are loving spiritual beings. And we get into these emotions. We all do. We get into the emotions of fear and anger and hate and revenge. And we forget and we fail to see that we are spiritually interconnected with each other. We fail to focus on love, and we focus instead on the negativity in the world. So how can we overcome this negativity and live a joyful, prosperous, and satisfying life? We learn to rely completely on our Creator, on our source that sustains its goodness. And we can learn to rely on our source through spiritual practice, spiritual mind treatment, meditation, journaling, visioning, contemplation, music, art, just to name a few. Whatever brings you closer to that small, still voice within you that speaks from love. So, with that basic understanding that there's only God and we are emanations of God and God's essence is love. As I was writing this talk, I was practicing. Spirit, step in and take over. Spirit, bring all of you here and take over. What is it that is the message that would serve the highest and greatest for us as a community today? And the message came through as the demonstrations. So in the past 3 weeks, we've seen demonstrations in our country to end police violence and to end, to have racial equality. I looked for, as I was demonstrating this, I looked for what was the purpose of the demonstrations. And it seems there's many different things that the demonstrations want in different areas. Many different things that are being called for us to evolve to our next level in America and across the world. And I found a Black Lives Matter organizer in Philadelphia, and I really liked what she had to say. This really resonated with me. She said that the ultimate demand right now in our country is to end the war against Black life. And that's what I want to talk about today. To end the war against Black lives. But first, something that's really important for me to explain, because it often gets confused, is the difference between social justice and politics. As a minister, I am prohibited from talking about politics from this platform. So I want to be really clear that I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about social justice. And there's been a movement in Science of Mind, I don't know, gosh, for the past 5-10 years, probably 5, 7, 8 years, something like that. In Science of Mind, the ministers, we talk about the teachings of Science of Mind, the one mind, the one source, and we can create our worlds through our thoughts. And there's been a discussion amongst ministers about where does social justice come into our movement? And social justice, a good definition for social justice is just, it has to do with the concepts of human rights and human equality. And a good definition is the way in which human rights are manifested in the everyday lives of the people at every level of society. I'll read it again. The way in which human rights are manifested in the everyday lives of people and every level of society. And again, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about human rights, social justice. And I think and really believe in my heart that right now is the perfect time for the science of mind philosophy. The world is calling for equality. The world is calling for basic human decency rights for everyone. And that's exactly what the science of mind philosophy is about. The Black Lives Matter movement, this is really interesting as I was researching this, is demanding that the police and really every person make Black lives matter. And notice that word matter. It's not saying Black lives matter more than other people, just that Black lives matter. And in fact, Black Lives Matter isn't even saying Black lives are equal. Like the GBLTQIA, had to look that up, activists, they're demanding equality. The Black Lives Movement is just saying, we matter. This is where science of mind can come in and can be so powerful. It's about civil rights. It's about civility towards every human being on this planet. In science of mind, we believe we are all one. We practice and we know we are all one. We believe in God, that living Spirit Almighty, the one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause, no matter what. It is oneness. And I think that that is what is crying out right now in our country for, is to recognize everyone as one. We have to take the systemic racism and make it better. You know, racism has been part of the fabric of our country for over 400 years, longer than African Americans have been free. That is amazing to me. And as a history teacher, it just is amazing to me that we're still doing the same thing we were doing in the 60s. It's the same thing. But we as a community, as science of mind, on the edge of the human evolution, I really think it's time. It's time. Our country is calling, our people are calling. We're calling for something different. We're calling for reform. We're calling for everyone to step up and to use their voice, to come from love, and to recognize the allness of spirit, and to make it right. Now, I want to talk about something today that we took a class in ministerial school on diversity, and there were probably 15 people in my class, and I would say probably 12 of us were white, and the other 3 were of Black or brown skin, Hispanic, and African American. And it really opened my eyes. And I think that that's what the class was intended to do, training science of mind ministers about white privilege. And I have to say, in those classes, it was hard. It was hard because I'd never thought about it. And to hear people talk and express the other students to express their experiences in America, having black or brown skin, I had no idea. And honestly, I felt bad. I felt ashamed because I didn't know, I wasn't aware that when I walk into a store, I have white privilege. But I became aware then, and I've been educating myself on this now. And what can I do to bring the science of mind principle of oneness to the world? So I want to talk about white privilege. I want to talk about what it is. I want to talk about what it's not. And these are what sometimes we call here courageous conversations. And that's what I want to have as a white woman in the world, is to have a courageous conversation with my fellow white people and what we can do during this time and as religious scientists. So let me be really clear. White privilege is not racism. I think about when we talk about white privilege, we have to talk about what it's not. It's not racism. And white privilege is not a suggestion that what white people have, we've never struggled for. Because we've struggled for what we've had. We've worked really hard for what we have. I know I have. And it's not to say that white privilege doesn't mean that white people aren't struggling, because we know that white people are struggling. It's also, white privilege is also not that white people have accomplished without earning what we've accomplished, because we've accomplished what we've accomplished, we've earned. But really what it is, white privilege is a built-in advantage, and it's separate from one's income or one's effort. That as white people in America, we have a built-in advantage walking in this world, in our country. And I just want to shine the light on that right now. A couple examples that are often given is Band-Aids. When you go to the store and you buy Band-Aids, typically the Band-Aids match the skin color of white people. Now that's been changed over the last years, and they're making them clear in their other colors, but mostly it's the color of white people's skin. Also, white people are less likely to be followed, interrogated, or searched by law enforcement because they look suspicious. That is the way it is right now in the world. And we can have an effect, and specifically in America, and we can have an effect on change. We as a community, we as a movement can make this different. Now, white people, what can we do? First of all, don't take white privilege personally. Don't use it as an excuse to disengage. Don't take that discomfort to disengage. Sit in that discomfort, whatever is coming up for you. Call a practitioner, call me. So to be able to sit in that discomfort is okay. Also, learn to listen. Learn to listen what people are saying, what maybe your African American or your Hispanic or your friends are telling you. Listen. Don't express your experience. Listen. And the next step, and this is something that's really calling to my heart, know when to speak up. Know when you see a person with black or brown skin being discriminated against, something of injustice. Use your white privilege and speak up. You can make a difference in this world. You can use the science of mind philosophy. You can use this oneness that we are all creations of God. We can also read books and educate ourselves There are lots of books out there to help us understand. Right now, our country needs us. It needs us as religious scientists more than ever. We can make a difference through using our voice. We can make a difference through our spiritual practice. We can make a difference by embodying the oneness in the fabric of our being and looking at it. And we can also make a difference by acknowledging and not backing away from those conversations about white privilege. This is our call to action. This is my call to action for myself, first and foremost. And this is my call to action for our community. The call to action by Dr. Ken Gordon, he explains faith like this: the time it takes from treatment to demonstration is the measure of your disbelief. You already have all the faith you will ever need. Where you place the faith is what you demonstrate. I think about that with the demonstrations. There's faith there. There's faith in basic civility rights, civil rights, just be civil. We can use that in our treatments this week. Civil rights for everyone. As religious scientists, we have spiritual tools for personal and global transformation and a country transformation. We can use these tools to train our mind and to activate the power that's already within us. Setting a powerful and mindful intention to be aware of our white privilege, to be available and aware of what we're thinking, how we're acting. And when it is out, we are called to step up and to speak up. That's my call to action for you this week. I have a video, I think it's about a 3.5-minute video that I'd like to share that I found that gives a really clear example of oh gosh, I can't think of the word, of discrimination, of racial discrimination, of white privilege, and what we can do as white people to use our privilege. And I'm going to share that video now. Sorry. Sister-in-law. Hang on, sorry. My sister-in-law, who's half black, half white, but looks white, blue eyes, whiter than most white folks, very white. She and I, we kind of grew up together. We raised our children together. So they're first cousins, and it's the wonderful, very, very multicultural family. So we're going in a safe way one day. And Kathleen, my sister-in-law, is in front of me. And she's, writing a check for her groceries. Now, my daughter, who at the time was 10 years old, was standing with me, and I was directly behind her, getting ready to get my groceries. So Kathleen comes up, and the checker, who is a strawberry blonde, freckled, very delightful, warm, the checker, this young woman, is talking to Kathleen. Hey, how you doing? This is a nice day today. They're just chatting up, and says, yeah. So Kathy writes her check, and she steps off to the side with her groceries because she's waiting for me. Again, Kathleen looks white, right? So I come up. No conversation. She looks up at me. Absolutely no, just a little chatter. And I write my check. My daughter, however, is 10, notices immediately the difference in how she responds to me. So I write my check, and she goes, I'm going to need 2 pieces of ID. At which point, my daughter looks at me, and she gets very, very embarrassed, and tears are kind of coming up in her eye, like, Mommy, you're not gonna
You're not going to let her do this. Why is she doing this to us, right? So I'm trying to figure out what I should do, because behind me are two elderly white women, right? And I'm thinking, okay, so then I become the angry black woman, right? And they're going to be, and I'm just trying to second guess all the drama. So then I just give her the 2 pieces of ID. I said, you know, some things you got to choose your battles, right? And then it gets worse. She pulls out the bad check book, right? So this is a book that shows the people who've written bad checks. So she starts searching for my license in the bad checks, at which point it's just out of control now. Just as I'm standing there trying to decide what to do, and it's really deeply humiliating. Now my daughter is in full-blown emotionally upset, who's 10. My sister-in-law walks back over, and she steps in and she says, excuse me, why are you doing this? And the checker goes, well, what do you mean? She goes, why are you taking her through all of these changes? Why are you doing that? She goes, well, this is our policy. She goes, no, it's not your policy because you didn't do that with me. Oh, well, I know you've been, she goes, no, she's been here for years. I've only lived here for 3 months. And so at this point, the 2 white elderly ladies go, oh, I can't believe what this checker has done with this woman. And it's totally unacceptable. At which point the manager walks over. So the manager walks over and says, is there a problem here? And then my sister-in-law again responds. She goes, yes, there is a problem here. Here is what happened. So you see, she used her white privilege. And even though Kathleen is half black and half white, she recognizes what that means. And she made the statement. She pointed out the injustice. And she, as a result of that one act, influenced everyone in that space. But what would have happened? I can't know for certain had the black woman said, this is unfair. Why are you doing this to me? Would it have had the same impact? But Kathleen knew that she walked through the world differently than I did. And she used her white privilege to educate and make right a situation that was wrong. That's what you can do every single day.
Let's pray.
You know, right now where we are in the world, we really need to work together.
I'm sorry.
And so we have all kinds.
Sorry about that.
But what gets in the way every time is
Oof.
who belongs. She was white.
Just a minute.
So then do we?
I'm so sorry. So let's pray. I just know that nothing happens by accident. I know that in that time when I was trying to figure out how to turn that next video off, that it gives a space for all of us to reflect and to go within and to think about and to feel about what that video and what that call to action has meant for us. For I know right here and right now, there is more of God that is knocking on our hearts that wants to express. There is inequality that we believe in science of mind. There is a truth that we are all emanations of the one, and that we all deserve fairness, civility, love, prosperity, equality. And what I also know for each of us, as we use our spiritual tools and our spiritual practices to go within ourselves and to listen with those ears that hear the divine, what is mine to do right now? Where is mine to step up, to speak up? Where is it that God is saying, this is no longer acceptable for some of me to be treated unfairly, unjustly, and violently? I know for each and every one of us here on this Zoom meeting this morning, and for each person that hears this message, and for each person in this country, I know that each person hears the calling of their hearts, the equality, the oneness that is wanting to be expressed now in this time of our country more than ever. I claim courageous conversations for each and every person. I claim guidance from the one God, no matter where we go to practice and worship. I claim that we listen and we know and we celebrate what is good in this life. We celebrate with each other. All that is God, we celebrate each other. I claim courage and faith and joy and prosperity and equality for each and every person on the planet right now. Because just as the coronavirus does not discriminate, it sees our equality. I see through those eyes. We're all equal and we're all one. I claim it, I know it, and I release it. And please say with me, and so it is.
All right. 1, 2, 3. You can have it if you want it. Don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. You can have it if you want it. Don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. You can have it if you want it. Don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. Well, I started and stop it and started and stop it and started and stop it and started and stop it, started and stop it and started and I never do it. Once I get this, I'm gonna do that. Once I get that, I'm gonna do this. Once I get this, I'm gonna do that. But I never do it. You can have it if you want it. Don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. You can have it if you want it. Don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. If you believe in little things, stacked together could do anything. Put it together one by one. It's the same for everyone. If we know better, then we can do better. Just put it together one by one. It's not the same for everyone. You can have it if you want it. But don't complain when you get it. Every single time you quit it, 'cause you thought it would be different. Yeah, you can have it if you want it, want it. Don't complain when you get it, get it. This time I ain't gonna quit it. This time is different. If you believe in little things, put together could do anything. Together one by one, it's not the same for everyone. You can have it if you want it.
Thank you, Chad. Love it. That was fun. So now is the time for the giving of our gifts. Thank you in the many ways that you are continuing to support the center during these times. We are honored to be able to continue to support you spiritually. We appreciate your gifts, your donations, and your tithes. They're important because they help us to fulfill our vision statement of a world that works for everyone. And as we engage in the law of circulation, we remember that God is our source, that we are circulating spirit's energy in the forms of money, whether we go onto our Facebook page and donate, or we use text to give, or we send in a check. We appreciate your giving. So please say our affirmation with me. My gift goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful for all I see, all I know, all I have is thankful for all I see, all I know, all I have is thankful, grateful, grateful, grateful for all I am so grateful.
I am so grateful. And I recognize God is my source. God is my absolute supply. This supply flows through me as it flows to me. The law of circulation is evidence of this connection. And I say yes to this proof. I claim a greater prosperity consciousness for the entire community, knowing the more I have, the more I have to give. And the more I give, the more I receive. I claim gratitude for each giver and each gift given. I bless these words and release them to the law, knowing with unwavering faith that it is already done. and together we sing.
And so it is, and so we let it be. And so it is, and so we let it be.
Thank you. So let's take a moment and thank Carissa Holmes and Chad Warren, along with Tony Bernardi on piano, Steve Parakis on bass, Joe Nelson on drums. They've all collaborated their musical talents to provide the music today. Thank you all for coming here and joining our service today. And I would encourage you to really listen to what God is speaking to you, where God is calling you to step up and to use your words and to be aware and to be a positive impact in the world and in America right now as we're going through this difficult time. If you're joining us for the first time today, we welcome you. Or if you're watching us for the first time today, we welcome you. We're glad you're here. We'd like to send you a welcome packet in the mail with information about us. You can either call our office. You can find our number on our website. You can also send us a private Facebook message or contact us on our Facebook page. There's a button there. Also, if someone is on here and you're not receiving our weekly information, we have a weekly word that goes out on Wednesdays. If you're not receiving that information, you can also call the office, numbers on our website, contact us through Facebook, and we'll get you on our list. So I'm just going to invite everyone that's on the Zoom call, if you would like to turn your cameras on right now so we can all come together in a community. We can see each person. There, we're coming on the screen. If you haven't taken a shower, oh, look at all those beautiful people. If you haven't taken a shower and your hair's a mess, that's okay. You don't have to turn your screen on. So, hello everyone. So, this is our time to say, actually, before we say our blessing, I'm going to invite you to do this. After our blessing, if you would like to unmute your screen and say hello or goodbye to connect us as a community, I welcome you to do that. So before you unmute, let's say our blessing together. There is only one life. Oh, waiting, there we go. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is.
Hey, hello everybody.
Hey everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
I can hear you guys. Hey, Marty. Thank you, Carissa.
Thank you, everyone. Wonderful service. Have a wonderful week. The arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
I guess this would be a better time to invite you all to unmute and say hello or goodbye. Sorry about that.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye. Love the
Bye-bye.
service.
Have a
Hey,
great
Bill.
Hello.
Hey, girls.
I know you people.
Triumphant.
Go out and make a difference in the world as religious scientists. Speak up.
Of course.
My girl. Love you guys.
All right.
Love you,
Mwah.
Everyone.
Love
Have
you.
a good day.
Love and light.
Love and light.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Love and light, Dave.
Love and light.
All right. Robin and Margie, you guys want to stay on and we'll try to figure out what happened today? Yeah.
You need me?
If you want to stay.
Hey, Robin, you want to stop recording?
Good call, Margie.
All right.